Most people think the problem is money. It usually isn't. The real problem is the role you play in how money comes to you. Two people can earn the same amount and live completely different lives. One feels trapped, stressed, and replaceable. The other feels calm, flexible, and in control. The difference isn't discipline or luck. It's the income role they occupy. Income roles shape how you spend your time, how vulnerable you are to shocks, and how much leverage you have over your future. They determine whether effort compounds or resets to zero every day. This piece breaks down 3 income roles that quietly separate people who struggle forever from people whose lives change fast. These are not job titles, they are patterns of value creation. You don't need all 3 at once, but you do need to understand them, because moving from one role to the next is how financial lives actually change. Income role #1, the time for money role. This is where almost everyone starts. You trade hours for pay. When the hours stop, the money stops. It's simple, predictable, and fragile. What this role looks like in real life: salaried employees, hourly workers, freelancers who bill by the hour, contractors paid per shift or per task. You might be highly skilled, you might earn a strong income, you might even enjoy the work. But the structure is the same, your value is measured in time. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. Why this role feels safe: it offers clarity. You know what to do and when to do it. You know roughly how much you'll make next month. Someone else handles distribution, marketing systems, and risk. That stability matters. For many people, this role is necessary at certain stages of life. The problem isn't starting here. The problem is staying here too long. The hidden costs no one warns you about. 1. Income caps. There are only so many hours in a week. Raises are incremental, promotions are political. At some point, effort stops producing proportional rewards. 2. Zero leverage. Your output resets every day. Yesterday's work rarely pays you again tomorrow. 3. High replacement risk. Another person with similar skills can often step in. Even top performers can be cut when budgets shift. 4. Time poverty. You may earn well but still feel rushed, exhausted, and behind. Free time becomes the real luxury. The psychological trap, the biggest danger of this role, isn't financial, it's mental. You start believing effort equals progress. You work harder, say yes more often, stay busy. But your position doesn't fundamentally improve. You're just running faster on the same treadmill. This is why so many capable people feel stuck despite doing everything right. When this role makes sense: early career skill building, learning a new industry, funding a transition to something else, periods where stability matters more than upside. The goal is not to escape this role overnight. The goal is to stop letting it be your only role. Because real change begins when income is no longer tied directly to hours. Income role #2, the value multiplier role. This is where effort starts to compound. Instead of being paid for time, you're paid for results, assets, or outcomes. One unit of work can create ongoing value. This role changes how you think about work itself. What this role looks like: business owners, product creators, investors, commission-based earners with scale. People who build systems that run without constant presence. The defining feature is leverage. You do something once and it keeps paying. The shift that unlocks this role: you stop asking, "How many hours will this take?" and start asking, "If this works, how many times does it pay me?" That single question changes behavior fast. Examples of value multiplication: a course created once and sold thousands of times. A rental property generating monthly income. Software solving a recurring problem. A brand that attracts customers without daily outreach. A sales role where one relationship drives long-term revenue. The work is often harder up front, but the payoff curve is completely different. Why this role feels uncomfortable at first: 1. Delayed gratification. You can work for months with little or no return. 2. Responsibility increases. If it fails, it's on you. 3. Unclear feedback. There's no boss telling you if you're doing well. Results take time. 4. Skill gaps become obvious. Marketing, systems, negotiation, and decision-making suddenly matter. Many people quit here not because they can't do it, but because the silence feels scary. The upside most people underestimate: 1. Income decouples from time. Your calendar stops being the bottleneck. 2. Work stacks instead of resets. Each project builds on the last. 3. Optionality increases. You can reinvest, delegate, or pause without income dropping to zero. 4. Identity shifts. You stop thinking of yourself as replaceable labor and start seeing yourself as a value creator. Common mistakes in this role: chasing too many ideas at once, underestimating distribution, overbuilding before validating, quitting too early. This role rewards focus more than intelligence. One solid asset beats 5 half-finished ones every time. The bridge from role #1 to role #2. The transition usually happens off hours. You use stable income to buy time and learning. Nights, weekends, early mornings, not forever. Just long enough to build something that doesn't disappear when you log off. This is the role where many lives materially improve, but it's not the final shift, because leverage alone doesn't equal freedom. Ownership does. Income role #3, the ownership and control role. This is where the game changes completely. You don't just create value. You control the source of value. What this role really means: ownership is not about having a title. It's about decision rights. You decide what gets built. You decide how profits are used. You decide who participates. You decide when to step back. This role separates earners from architects. Real-world examples: majority owners of businesses, people with controlling equity stakes, creators who own their audience and platform, investors with governance power, founders who can exit or scale by choice. The key distinction is control. Without it, upside is always limited. Why this role is rare: 1, it requires patience. Ownership takes time to build and protect. 2, it demands long-term thinking. Short-term wins can damage long-term control. 3, it exposes you to real risk. There's no one else to blame. 4, it requires saying no. Any opportunities dilute ownership rather than strengthen it. Most people never reach this role because it asks them to think years ahead instead of months. The compounding effect of ownership. When you own the engine, every improvement multiplies. Better systems increase margins, stronger brand lowers acquisition costs, good hires free your time, strategic partnerships expand reach. The gains stack quietly but relentlessly. This is how small beginnings turn into life-altering outcomes. Psychological differences at this level. People in this role think differently. They protect their time aggressively. They care about incentives, not appearances. They optimize for durability over speed. They measure success in decades. They're not necessarily smarter. They're just playing a longer game. The hidden responsibility. Ownership amplifies everything. Wins feel bigger. Losses feel personal. Decisions carry weight. Mistakes are expensive. This role is not easier. It's heavier. But it's also where true autonomy lives. How people usually reach this role, rarely in a straight line. Most paths look like this. Learn skills in role #1. Build leverage in role #2. Convert leverage into ownership. Sometimes that means buying equity. Sometimes it means negotiating it. Sometimes it means starting small and refusing to give it away too early. The common thread is intention. Ownership doesn't happen by accident. Why these roles matter more than income amount. A $60,000 earner in role #3 can be safer than a $200,000 earner in role #1, because stability isn't about income. It's about control. Control over time. Control over direction. Control over upside. When markets shift, companies downsize, or industries change, roles determine outcomes. The person trading time scrambles. The person with leverage adapts. The owner decides. The trap of skipping roles. Many people try to jump straight to ownership. They chase passive income, buy businesses they don't understand, or invest without context. This usually ends badly. Each role teaches something essential. Role #1 teaches discipline and skill. Role #2 teaches leverage and systems. Role #3 teaches judgment and stewardship. Skipping lessons doesn't save time. It creates expensive mistakes. How to identify your current role. Ask yourself 3 questions. If I stop working for 30 days, what happens to my income? Does my past work continue to pay me today? Who ultimately decides how value is created and distributed? Your honest answers reveal your role. Most people are surprised by what they find. How to move forward without burning your life down. You don't need a dramatic exit. You need a deliberate shift. Protect your primary income. Start building one leveraged asset. Learn how ownership actually works in your field. Say no to distractions that don't move you up a role. Progress looks boring from the outside. Income roles quietly shape lives. They determine whether effort compounds or evaporates, whether time is an enemy or an ally, whether the future feels fragile or flexible. You don't need to chase wealth. You need to move up the roles, one intentional shift at a time. That's how everything changes. Thanks for watching Legacy Finance. If this video helped you think differently about money, income, or ownership, Make sure you subscribe. This channel is about building income that lasts, thinking long-term, and creating real leverage in your financial life. Like the video if it was useful, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment with what you want covered next. See you in the next one.